So we've gotten this question more than once. What do you think is the best country to live in? Now, I've traveled to 57 countries so far, and David, how many are you up to?
I'm up to 55 countries now.
55. So we're in the high 50s of how many countries we visited. So we're going to share in this video our top 5 countries of where we would want to live. But my list is a little bit different from David's, so you're going to actually get 10 countries out of the mix. And stay to the end because you'll also see countries we haven't visited yet that are also high on our list to explore, just because we hear great things from other expats and other slow travelers. Now, if you don't know us, we're Kendra and David Lucas of Lucas World Travel. And back in 2020, we sold everything and quit our jobs so that we could travel the world full time just to experience what the world was like. Our big goal is to visit 100 countries and to permanently relocate to our favorite country. I feel like it's important to get a very good sampling of the world and have personal experience with each country, because there are so many places we did research on and then we wound up going to the country and it did not fit our energy and our vibe at all. So I think it's important to share our big criteria for what it is we are looking for in a place. And believe me, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to meet all of these criteria. We're willing to sacrifice some things in order to get others. For me, the biggest thing that it has to have is a relaxed vibe. I don't want rush hour traffic. I don't want hustle and bustle. I want to be around thousands of relaxed people. That is the goal of my life. Another thing that I would love is to have a country that has drinkable water straight out the tap. Now, naturally, this is not essential because we lived in Thailand where you can't drink the water and it was fine. But, it's always nice to be able to drink the water if you can. Also, to have the infrastructure of the plumbing so that you can flush toilet paper. When we were in South America, you can't flush your toilet paper. It was annoying. Nothing you can't live through, but if you want to be in the best environment possible and drinkable water and flushable toilet paper is a thing you could have, why wouldn't you want to have it?
Another thing that's on our list, and I have to say those things that Kendra just mentioned aren't really a big deal for me. Okay? But I want you to understand something. Another good thing that is on our list is good roads and good public transportation. I like to be able to walk out the door, catch a bus, catch a cab, catch a train. As much as we drive, and driving is a thing in the United States, I don't really have to drive. And I love cars, but I don't have to drive. I'd rather ride on a train and read a book. With that being said, another thing that we want to share with you that is on our list is we want a place that has very low crime.
Another important criteria for me is warm weather, because when the temperature drops below 50 Fahrenheit, I am not at my happiest.
So now let's get into the countries that we can possibly see ourselves living one day. Now, this one's a given. We've already lived there for 18 months. You already know which one it is. It's Thailand. We love this place. It's the first country we went to where we felt immediately we could live here. So the place we loved the most was Phuket, Thailand. We were there during COVID times, so there was very few tourists. It was like a paradise. However, in the last few years, we've heard that because of so many tourists coming into Thailand, that it's no longer traffic-free, hustle bustle free. So that does worry me when I hear those reports from YouTubers and friends who live there of how bad the traffic is getting.
A place that I would love to live is Vienna. I've been to Vienna before, loved it, loved that it had great transportation, loved that it had water that I could drink, loved that it was beautiful aesthetically. That's a big thing with me. I also like old towns, so I like palaces and I like being able to go out to nice dinners, have a glass of wine. So Vienna offers all of those things.
And I'd say the only con of living in Vienna would be the cold winters. I am not about a cool winter lifestyle. I don't want to see snow. So for me, I would just have to leave you in Vienna every winter. I couldn't do a winter with you. So the next country that we loved staying in while we were in South America was Lima, Peru, specifically the Miraflores neighborhood. Now, this city surprised me so much. We stayed there 2 weeks over Christmas and absolutely loved it. The city has so many nice buildings to stay in. It has a nice beach and a great view over the cliffs. There are beautiful places to walk. It's nice to ride a bike through there. Like Lima is a huge city, but Miraflores just seems like a city all of it on itself. Like you could be there and never leave Miraflores. We went to other parts of Lima naturally and didn't feel as comfortable there. Like, especially there was one area by the bus station that's like, this is Lima? We've stayed here 2 weeks and never seen anything like trash everywhere and it's like seems run down. It's like I didn't know this was Lima. Like to me, Lima is Miraflores. So it's literally just this neighborhood that I liked. But once again, kind of like Thailand, you can't drink the water there, can't flush your toilet paper. There is quite a bit of hustle bustle. As long as you don't leave the neighborhood of Miraflores, though, you don't really notice it because you're either walking, you're riding a bike, and it's just a nice quality of life there. And it's very affordable.
And as one of Kendra's picks, it fits part of my criteria. It's very beautiful. It's one of those places because I like to sometimes just be outside. It has no particular reason. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I just want to be outside. And if you go out in Lima, Peru, you go out into Miraflores, like she says, you can go on long walks. You can ride a bike. You can, go wherever you want. You can have a nice drink, go to a great restaurant. You can just stand off of that cliff and look out into the ocean for an hour and just have fun doing that. And so that is another place that I just think is gorgeous. I loved Prague before I went there, and it is Prague. So I saw Prague in the movies. I heard people talk about Prague and different things, and I started looking it up, and I was like, hey, I want to go to Prague. This is a place I really want to see. And when I went there and I got a chance to experience it, I just loved it. It was a beautiful place, has a crazy history. I loved going to see the old clock and all of those things and learning so much about it. But like I said, also too, I love old towns. And Prague gives you that eclectic feel of just like you've been there. It's been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so you have that feel as you walk down the streets on these cobblestone roads and all this kind of thing. You just have that whole ambiance that's there. And I love that type of thing.
Yeah, for me, I didn't have any connection whatsoever to Prague. Like I mentioned, the top criteria for me is the vibe. And for me, the vibe didn't connect with me, so I didn't have any type of affinity with Prague. So, plus it's cold there, so that's a no. The next country I would love to try living in is Kotor, Montenegro. Now, we were there for maybe 12 days in the winter, and absolutely loved it. It's just a gorgeous place. If you get a place with a view of the bay, I love being able to have a gorgeous mountain and sea view at the same time. And it's just had a nice, relaxed vibe, fairly affordable as well. And I love that you can go into the mountains to see the different national parks. It was winter when we were there, so we couldn't really explore the national parks. So I would love to go back. And I do believe it's developed enough that you can drink the water, flush your toilet paper. So to me, it gets top marks. And we might even try living there for at least a month next year. So we'll see how that goes. But the one con of Kotor is I don't know if we'll be able to find community there. So a big thing for us is salsa dancing. It's the best way for us to make friends when we travel. Kotor doesn't have a salsa dance scene. Only the capital city has one, but the capital of Montenegro is like 2 hours away. So it's not practical for us to go there regularly to dance. So that's one thing that we will be missing if we lived in Couture.
Another place I loved. When we went, it was one of the most expensive places we probably had we traveled to, and that was Singapore. I loved so many things about Singapore. A big thing for me, just personally, I like places that are green, and I like places that are clean, and I like places that people think that's important, you know. And Singapore is the epitome of that. Another thing about Singapore, it's very safe. So if Kendra was walking around the streets at 4 o'clock in the morning in Singapore and I was home asleep, I would still feel fine that she's fine. Okay. It's that safe. So it's one of the safest cities in the world. So when you're paying to stay in a city like that, that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the fact that it's clean, that it's green, and you're paying for the safety and security. You're not afraid to do anything or go anywhere. You're not, no one's harassing you to do anything.
And for me, I'd say the con of Singapore is just that it feels like such a small country. I feel like it wouldn't be enough variety, if that makes sense. I don't know about their national parks. I don't think we've experienced any of those. So I just worry that, you'll run out of things to do. You'll always wanting to be traveling somewhere else. And also, most of the country is just city. So I like to have a little bit more nature involved, but I love that place too. So another place we loved was Curacao. Now, this is a Caribbean island that we just visited, and we actually just absolutely enjoyed our time there. We love both the capital city of Williamstad, which is where I could see myself living because the city has great restaurants, nightlife, there's a little bit of salsa dancing, so I feel like we could get connected to the community. But there's so many beaches to explore, there's national parks, so I feel like there's a lot of things that we could do there to really enjoy our time.
I actually enjoyed Curacao myself. It was a place that kind of caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting what I got. And then on top of that, we landed there. We were going to be there for a month, and we landed there at the perfect time because we landed there right before the festival began. So we were able to experience that as well. So we saw a large bit of the community come out for the festival, which was awesome. That was really cool. And the people were just so chill. I mean, the people were just so chill, so amazing in Curacao.
Yes, it literally checks all the boxes, hardly no traffic, drinkable water, flushable toilet paper. And even though it's a Caribbean island, it's still not that expensive compared to some of the other islands. So we found that to be one of the most affordable islands of our island hopping through the Caribbean as well. So high up on the list, Curacao.
So another place that I found that I loved. So the place that I loved was Porto, Portugal. And for me, it was really on fire. It was really that hot. It was really a great, great place. And I think more people should go there and check it out. It has a great vibe. It's known for its wine, but the atmosphere is electric. I mean, it's really, really electric. We would go down to the port area and we would go to the river walk, and there were restaurants lined up. There were people out there dancing, playing music, having fun. It didn't cost anything. You could just stand around, have a drink. And then if you go across the river, also up to the upper level, they had people playing music or people doing poetry or different things like that. And they do it weekly. So you can go out and there's a different vibe for a different person kind of a thing. And not to mention, just the city itself was really, really nice. Now, here's the thing. We checked out Porto and I fell in love with it. But so many of my friends said, you're going to love Lisbon. And I went to Lisbon and it wasn't all that to me. But then I loved Porto. And I just found it to be an awesome, awesome place. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. I like what you said about the vibe being electric, and that is 100% true. Only thing I didn't like about Porto is that there's still a high quantity of homeless people sleeping on the street. And like I said, the vibe is important to me, but it's hard for me to have good vibes when I see people suffering sleeping on the street. You know what I mean? That would be the hard part about living in Porto. If I'm trying to be around thousands of relaxed people and I daily see people sleeping on the streets, that's not relaxing. So I can't be relaxed with people suffering like that so close to me. So, and the country that is top on my list that I'm interested in moving to would be Malta. And we don't know what city we would live in yet in Malta. We spent a week there and absolutely loved every minute of it. It is a relatively small island, so I do worry about whether we would be, I don't know, entertained enough. But they do have salsa dancing there, so there's a way for us to build community. They have beaches and beautiful scenery there, good nightlife. So I feel like there would be a lot of activities for us to do. Plus, it's really well connected with Ryanair, so you can get cheap flights all around Europe. So Malta has a lot of good things going for it.
Yeah, actually, I fell in love with Malta also for the same reason. Like, I remember being outside of our apartment just as soon as we walk out of the door, and you see this view. This view that's just amazing. And like I said before, I'm already into old towns, that kind of a feel. So it's almost like you're in Rome or some other place like that. You know, you just have this majestic feeling. Then you have the ocean that's right there. It is gorgeous. And the sun's shining, and it's just beautiful, and there's yachts everywhere and all that kind of stuff. The people were chill. Everybody was doing their own thing. And so it can get very busy as well. But and like she said, you know, we don't know much about the cities and different things. We just stayed in one place for a week and loved it. So it would take some more investigation, but it's definitely high up on our list. So another place that I loved right away, and I mean right away, is Dubrovnik, Croatia. Dubrovnik is incredible. I have a friend that lives there, and she loves her place so much that it's crazy. But I'll tell you this, Kendra and I walked through the gates of Old Town, Dubrovnik, Croatia, and we were stunned. I think we literally just stood there frozen with our bags and our mouths gaped wide open, and people were probably looking at us like we were crazy. And as a matter of fact, I believe Kendra pulled out her camera and said, I have to record this right now, this feeling. And the whole time we were there was like that. It just amazed us and amazed us and amazed us. Everywhere we went in Dubrovnik, they have salsa dancing there too, which we met friends there, and that was really cool. But Dubrovnik was like living inside of a castle, and I loved every moment of it. And outside of that castle is the sea or the ocean or something, right? So you're standing on the walls and you can look over into this big, you know, abyss of the sea. You know, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. So it's a very touristy type area, but there's also a main city area that we didn't really explore very much. So we'd have to actually live there for a time to really see how it would be to actually live there in the city and take the whole thing in. We just happened to really, really love everything that we did see because we were able to see some of the boardwalks, some of the beaches, and some of the scenic areas that were really, really nice.
Yeah, and I really don't have anything negative to say about it, honestly. I don't know if it had the relaxed vibe that I was going for. It doesn't feel as relaxed as some of the other cities we've been in, like Malta and Curacao and Thailand. So for me, it just doesn't have the relaxation vibe that I'm going for. But it's a gorgeous place. I do like it along that. But that's it for the top 5 countries that David and I could see ourselves living in. However, there's plenty more places that we see potential with living in on paper. I'm particularly interested in Antalya, Turkey, and Cyprus, because I do love a beautiful island, and Sicily as well. Another beautiful island that has those Euro homes, and I just like that the prices can be so affordable there. We haven't been to those places yet, so I'm very interested spending a month there, seeing if it's a vibe that I like, So we'll let you know when we visit these places if it's a place that we could see ourselves living long term.
I also want to visit different places, different parts of Africa that I've heard a lot about. So that's why we're still traveling. We want to find out more and more about these other places. So if you have any comments or you've been to any of those places that we've mentioned, be sure to leave us a comment below and let us know what you think about our choices. Whether it's good or bad, we always like to get advice and we always like to hear what your thoughts are. So thanks for commenting.
But to get even more travel tips and tips about living abroad, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for even more. As always, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for sharing with all your travel pals. And happy travel planning. Until next time.